Okay, now we have here a digression, the count of the integrals. Let's read this one here and then stop, inshallah. So the author says, after knowing the 17 integrals for the 5 prayers, Abu Shuja' benefits the student by totaling their rakats and integrals. Though some explainers of the text of Abu Shuja' say that there is not much benefit in this chapter. So now we're going to read this chapter that some scholars said it's not very beneficial. And then maybe we'll get some benefit, inshallah. I personally found it quite beneficial. And so the author says there are 17 rakats per day for a resident, not a traveler. So you know that number, right? Because you have 2 plus 4, that's 6, plus 4, that's 10, plus 3, that's 13, plus 4, that's 17. Those are your 5 prayers. There are 17 rakats per day for a resident, except Friday. For then there are 15, yani minus 2, because Jumu'ah is 2 rakats, so minus 2 from the Dhuhr. Then you'll have 15 rakats per day on Friday, except the traveler shortening his prayers, then he has 11. Because, yeah, he has 11. How's that? Let's see. Are we talking about here when we say he has 11? Are we subtracting from the 15 or are we subtracting from the 17? So if we had 17, or let me not say that. If we had Fajr, which is 2, and then if you prayed Dhuhr as 2, and then prayed Asr as 2, and then prayed Maghrib as 3, that's 9 right there, and then prayed Isha as 2, that's 11. Those are your 5 prayers. So not an exclusion from Friday, an exclusion from regular day. Yani. So if it were Friday, then what do you have? Let's count. So that's why that's how I found this beneficial. When I went over this chapter and I went over different times when I studied Abu Shuja' at different times, this is how I found it beneficial, by counting for myself and seeing what's going on there. So if it were Friday and there were 15 rakats on that day, so Fajr is 2, Jumu'ah is 2, and as a traveler, Asr is 2, and Maghrib is 3, and Isha is 2, so it's still 11. So the traveler is going to have 11 rakats, period. Inshallah, it's clear. Al-Fakhr al-Razi said that the wisdom behind there being 17 rakats is that there are 17 waking hours throughout the day and night. Now, this is his saying. Allah knows best. But this documented in some of what I took, so I want to share it with you. What did he say? He said, there's an average daytime has 12 hours. A human is awake for the first 3 hours of the night and 2 hours before sunrise, including dawn. So an average daytime has 12 hours. A human is awake for the first 3 hours of the night. So that's 15. And 2 hours before sunrise, including dawn. That's 17. By this, each hour was given a rakat. Not that each hour, there's a rakat in each hour, but that there is for each hour a rakat in terms of number. Multiplying 2 by 17 for the number of prostrations per rakat is a total of 34 prostrations. Multiplying 2 by 17 because each rakat has two sujuds. So there's 17 rakats in a day and a night for a non-traveler on other than Friday. So clear. Each rakat has 2 sujuds, so multiply 2 by 17 for the number of rakat of sujuds per rakat. 34 prostrations. We talk about through the day and the night, throughout the day and the night. Obligatory. 34 prostrations. They contain 94 takbirs. Yeah. The rakats. The rakats contain 94 takbirs. So let's say those rakats. As opposed to what? Because maybe somebody would think it's saying the prostrations. They, meaning the prostrations, contain 94 takbirs? No. Those rakats that are 17 in number, if it's not Friday and you're not a traveler, those rakats contain 94 takbirs, 5 of which are obligatory because there's 5 obligatory prayers. So 5 out of 94 takbirs are integrals of the prayer. Fajr having an additional 11, Maghrib having an additional 17, and each fourfold prayer having an additional 22. So let's see. Says here, Fajr has an additional 11. So Fajr is 2 rakats. So you're going to say takbir to start the prayer. That's one. Then a takbir to go down to ruku'. You come up, Sami Allahu liman hamidah, Rabbana lakal hamd. Then a takbir to go down to sujood. Then a takbir to come up into sitting. Then a takbir to go down to sujood. That's 5 takbirs for me so far. Then a takbir to stand up for the next rakat. Then you're going to recite Al-Fatiha. Then a takbir to go down to ruku'. You say Sami Allahu liman hamidah, stand up. Rabbana lakal hamd. Then a takbir to go down to sujood. Then a takbir to sit up. Then a takbir to go down to sujood. That's 10. Then finally a takbir to come up for sitting. And then you're going to do your tashahhud, etc. till the end of the prayer. So then Fajr has 11. But why additional? Additional above and beyond the obligatory. That's why. Additional here means beyond the obligatory. 94 takbirs. 5 of them are obligatory, and Fajr has, but an additional 11. There's a total of 11. So let's change it here. I find it misleading. One of those 11 takbirs is the obligatory one. So how's going to have 11 additional? It should be 10 additional ones besides the obligatory one. So let's just say it this way. Fajr having a total of 11. Maghrib having 17. Let's check. So for Maghrib, we already know 2 rakats is going to get you 11. The 11th one is the one for coming out of the second sujood. Allahu Akbar. Okay. Then, how many takbirs were in 1 rak'ah? I'll recount them again now. 1 for opening the prayer. 1 for making ruku'. 1 for going down to sujood. 1 for coming up to sit. 1 for going down to sujood. That's 5. Yes, 5. So those rakats contain 94 takbirs, 5 of which are obligatory. So I want to squeeze something in here. So if it's the last rakat, how many takbirs? So we're going to count the standing. We're going to start from the standing takbir. 1 to stand up for your last rakat. And then yani, 1 to make ruku', 1 to make sujood, 1 to sit up from sujood, 1 to make sujood again, and then 1 to sit to end your prayer. 6. Okay. So a first rakat should have 5 takbirs if you do all the sunnahs, and a last rakat should have 6. Okay, so let's see. Those rakats contain 94 takbirs, 5 of which are obligatory. Fajr having a total of 11, because 5 plus 6. Maghrib having 17. So 17 means 6 more on top of the 11, just because it has another rakat. It has 1 more rakat, so it's going to have 6 more takbirs. And each fourfold prayer having 22. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 is only 5 more than 17. So is that right? Let me count. So we already know. First rakat should have 5. Last rakat should have 6. And we know from Maghrib, just adding 1 more should make us have 17. So let me back up though. No, wait. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I'm going to count the whole thing then. First takbir to start the prayer, if four rakats. Then takbir for bowing. Then takbir for going down to sujood. Then for coming up to sit. Then for sujood again. Yeah, that's 5. Then 1 for standing up. And then 1 for ruku'. 1 for going down to sujood. 1 for sitting from prostration, yani sitting. And 1 for prostrating again. That's another 5. And then 1 for standing. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yes. 5 more because of another rakat. Is that clear? Anyone confused or mixed up here? Out of 9 tashahhuds, 5 are obligatory. Why 9 tashahhuds? Because one prayer has 1 tashahhud. If there are 5 prayers, if there were 2 tashahhuds and 5 prayers, there would be 10 tashahhuds. But one of those 5 prayers has only 1 tashahhud, so there's only going to be 9 tashahhuds. 5 of them are obligatory. That's for every prayer. So every prayer has an obligatory tashahhud, which is the last one. Okay. And out of 10 salams, 5 are obligatory. Why don't we make that new sentence too? Out of 10 salams, 5 are obligatory. That's clear, right? Because you only have to say salam 1 time. So when you say it twice, 1 was obligatory, 1 was sunnah. There are 153 statements of tasbih, saying subhanallah, according to the minimal perfection. What's the minimal perfection? 3 times. by saying Subhanallah 9 times per rakat. Subhanallah 9 times per rakat, thrice in each ruku' and sujood. Yeah, because in one rakat, you're going to make ruku' once, that's 3. Subhanallah 3 times. Then you're going to make sujood twice. Also, Subhanallah in both of them, so that's 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 statements of Subhanallah in one rakat or per rakat. Says here there are 153 statements of tasbih according to the minimal perfection. 153 in how many rakats though? So that means 153 divided by 9, right? What's 153 divided by 9? Or is my math wrong here? I'm not so strong in math. Subhanallah. 17.6. 17. Okay, so then that means for 5 prayers. There are 153 statements of tasbih. Yes, I got mixed up myself because it's clear. Out of 9 tashahhuds, 5 are obligatory, means out of 5 prayers. Out of 10 salams, 5 are obligatory, means out of 5 prayers. There are 153 statements of tasbih, means out of 5 prayers, according to the minimal perfection. By saying Subhanallah 9 times per rakat, thrice in each ruku' and sujood. Okay. So the sum of integrals in the obligatory prayers is then 126. By counting the fourfold prayers as one, meaning Fajr, Maghrib, and one of the fourfold prayers. The sum of integrals is going to be 126. And each instance of serenity in its 4 spots. So, if we just count Fajr, Maghrib, and one of the fourfold prayers, and we count the Tuma'nina, each time in its 4 spots, and without counting the order as an integral, since it's not independent, nor counting that weak saying of intending to end the prayer, because it's not true, nor counting the previously listed succession. That's all the way in the introduction of the chapter. We'll see it inshallah when we review. Then you get 126 integrals. So then do the math for that one. I don't want to stop here to do that one now with my fingers. But you'll do it if you want with your own pen and paper, unless you're good at math. May Allah make you so, and me too. And you can just do it in your head or in your heart. Without the subtracted 3 integrals, so not including the subtracted 3 integrals, Fajr has 30, Maghrib has 42, and a fourfold prayer has 54. So what's that? 30 plus 42 plus 54. Is that 126? Looks like it, because 4 plus 2 is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 3 is 12. So 126. By adding the integrals of all 5 prayers, there are, so including 2 more fourfold prayers, there are 234 integrals. The synopsis is, the first rakat of any of the 5 prayers has 14 integrals. The intention, the takbir, to start the prayer, the Fatiha, standing, bowing, serenity, standing erect, serenity, the first prostration, serenity, the second prostration. Based on counting it as an independent integral, which is one of two perspectives in al-Basit. Because, when we learn the integrals, we say there's 17 integrals, and we say the ninth integral is prostrating twice. So that's not what's being done here. The ninth integral is prostrating twice. That means you're counting both prostrations as one integral. Here, number 11 here, the second prostration based on counting it as an independent integral. And so number 9 is the first prostration, and number 11 is the second prostration. And serenity, and sitting between the two prostrations and the serenity. That's first rakat. So there's no tashahhud here. In any rakat between the first and the last, there are 12 integrals. By subtracting the intention, because you don't have to make the intention again, and subtracting the takbir of consecration, meaning takbiratul ihram. So you get 12. There were 14 when you count those two. In the last rakat, there are 16 integrals. By adding to the 12, the tashahhud, the prayer for the Prophet, the prayer for his family, and sitting for all of that. Wallahu a'lam. Allah knows best. We'll stop there. So, mashallah, may Allah reward Abu Shuja' for this beneficial chapter here.